Good evening and welcome to the 1927 podcast. I am all by myself tonight. Mr. Rhys David Evans couldn't make it due to some traffic issues on the way home from work. So you are stuck with my ugly mug. It is going to be a shortened version of the 1927 podcast this evening because I do have to take myself off to do a night shift. So, and tonight is all about you guys in the comments. Everything's going to be about you. It'll help me out as well, rather than having to do it all by myself. So, obviously, the podcast tonight was to review the Peterboro versus Cardiff City first round of the FA Cup. And, yeah, we went there and we've lost 1-0. Am I disappointed myself? No, really. What's more concerning for me is given the strength of the squad that we picked. It's disappointing, we haven't picked up a result again. And, we're not consistent. That was one of the points I wanted to put across to you in the chat, guys, was, what do we need to do to be more consistent? I know we made 4 changes from the side that played at Wrexham on Tuesday. So my personal opinion, I think that could very well be it. We made 5 changes from the Bolton game when we played Wrexham on Tuesday. Then we've made 4 changes again today from the Wrexham game on Tuesday. So do you think that has a massive impact on us consistency-wise? Like I said, I'm not disappointed that we're out to the cup competition because the main priority obviously is getting promotion from League One back to the Championship. But it'll be interesting to see what you guys in the chat think. Please type away and put your comments in the chat, and I'll do my very best to read out as many as I can. Whilst I'm doing that, I am going to go through the starting lineup. And again, I thought it was a strong lineup today. Again, perhaps not a starting lineup I would have put out. There was maybe, at least one change I probably would have made. But Nathan Trott in goals, Joe Bagan, Dylan Lawler, Will Fish, Ronan Capaccio, Cian Ashford, Kellyman, Turnbull, Robertson, Colwell, and Mr. Callum Robinson up front. So on paper, before the game started, I thought, that was a really strong side, and probably would have had more than enough to go to Peterborough and do the job. But today wasn't to be. So yeah, I'm going to jump into the comments in and out. So let's have a little look who's about. Alan Watkins, good evening, my friend. Defined attacking option is not putting proper crosses in the box, giving forwards that chance. I think that was posted at some point this afternoon or early evening. So Alan, if you're here again, buddy, thanks for tuning in. Graham says, hard to say how things went on BBC Audio as they didn't talk about City match. Yeah, I think a lot of people after listening to it on the radio, I don't think there was much coverage about today. I don't know if anybody's seen any highlights yet. I know I haven't. So we'll have a little look at them later, hopefully. Evening, Matt. Hope you're well, mate. And chat, yes, I'm very well. Paul, nice to see you back in the comments as always, my friend. Evening, Ian. I'm convinced I'm still drunk from a house party yesterday because I can't bring myself to care about this loss. It'd be more useless games for something that's not important this season. I kind of agree and I disagree with that because I just love everything the FA. I don't think the excitement of the FA Cup is perhaps the same as it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But I still like an FA Cup run. I would love to experience something like the Leeds game that I experienced with my dad. I would love to, kind of share that experience with my boy. I think it'd be quite different now in Cardiff City Stadium rather than Ninian Park. But, you can always live to kind of hope, really. But, but like I said, again, and, I can't disagree with it too much because of the competition and there's less games that we have to play and less travelling, etc. And that's something I come on to a little bit later. Mark Cox, good evening, my friend. Another regular. Thanks for tuning in. Mr. Jonathan Mordecai, Hope you're well, buddy. I'm disappointed to go out of the cup, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world. The league is most important. Yeah, I would agree with you, buddy. Graham says, I agree. No shakes going out, but that team should have been good enough. Not fair for travelling fans. Yeah, and that was one of the things. I will come on to it in a sec, talking about travelling and that, so I'll park the bus on that one for a minute. The team looked pretty strong, so a performance like that is surprising as well as disappointing. 100%, but I agree with you there. Graham says, relegate Turnbull to permanent bench warmer. I didn't even watch the game, but like my family always rightly assumed I ate stuff from the fridge. I'm assuming he was useless. Again, I can't comment because I didn't actually watch the game today. I listened to it on the radio. But I don't know if it's a coincidence, but we never seem to start games well or play games well when he's starting. That could be a coincidence. And, we've seen some good things from David Turnbull, but myself personally, I've got nothing against David Turnbull, but I think I would have started Joel Colwell in there today, and maybe I had Turnbull coming off the bench, but that's my opinion. Paul says, typical of our season, really. Strong squad, but little impact all over the park. Conceding a goal and not being able to cause any problems. Howell, good evening, my friend. Evening, Rob. I'm not Rob. A little gutted we lost, but the league is the main priority, and with games being cancelled for internationals also not a bad thing. Yeah, I see the Huddersfield games being cancelled on the 15th. Reece gave me a bit of a tip off the other day for that Arsenal under-21s game, Howell. I don't know if you were going, but originally I'd booked tickets in the Canton, but apparently the club has been phoning supporters saying that due to poor sales, they're not open in the Canton now, so everybody's been moved to the grandstand apparently. So I haven't had a phone call, but I have had an email saying that my tickets have been moved. So interesting one, that. Graham says, stupid, it was not televised too. All comes down to coverage and paying for it, I suppose, mate. I don't know the ins and outs of it myself. But, yeah. Howell says, Matt, even, sorry, mate. That's all right, but I've been called worse. I'm not too worried about that, my friend. And Howell says, hopefully you will experience that with a win against Chelsea. Yeah, it'd be ideal. It would be great. My boys' second team is Spurs, so for those of you, and I know Howell, you were in the WhatsApp group, I was kind of hoping Spurs would beat Newcastle in the week, and we could kind of have Spurs at home, but again, that wasn't to be. But I'd take a win against Chelsea just as much as I would Spurs, to be fair. Ian says, that's a good point. I hope we all get good experience at the Chelsea quarter-final. Lots of different fans I know, casual and otherwise, are chomping at the bit for it. Save an FA Cup run when we're up. Jonathan says, Turnbull has the odd game like Plymouth where he looks up for it and plays well, but most games he's a passenger. It really hasn't worked out for him here, and I wouldn't be disappointed to see him go. I think that goes for the team in general, John. I don't know if you would agree with me there. Like you said, Tuesday night, we was bang up for it against Wrexham when we, outstanding performance at times, and we controlled large periods of that game. And then, you go into a game then like today, and from what I've heard, we were really poor, didn't create a lot. And that's what I was asking the question really about consistency. What do we need to do as a squad, or what does BBM need to do, for us to be getting consistent results week in, week out? Now, we started off the season really well and we couldn't grumble too much. But now, I don't know whether people are getting tired, this, that, and the other, picking up little niggles, playing with niggles. I don't know, but obviously, like I said, making the amount of, if we're making 4 or 5 changes every game, I think that's going to play a big impact in consistency. But what do I know? I'm just a avid supporter. Mark Cox says, need to put the Chelsea game to the back of our minds, get the focus back to league starting next week. Yeah, I think as fans can obviously talk about it, Mark, and be excited about looking forward to playing at a top club like Chelsea. But you would like to think, and from what I've heard, the players talking and the manager, they're only concentrating on the next game type of thing. So I think they're all professional enough to realise that. But I don't think there's any harm in, as fans, talking about it and being excited against playing a top Premiership club. And Josh is not too happy either because they beat Spurs this evening as well, I believe. So yes, all good. So here's another thing regarding, I said about being tired and the travel and the things. The first point I want to shout out is to the travelling fans. There was a young gentleman this morning who was due to go, and I think he had a seizure on the way to the train station this morning. So he ended up in hospital. So I hope he's well. I didn't catch his name, so I do apologise. But when things like that happen, it does put things into perspective. So I hope that little man is well and he's fighting fit, and hopefully he can get to the next game safe and well. But obviously, we've had 3 away games in 7 days: Bolton, Wrexham, and obviously Peterborough. I know lots of people who've been to all 3, so nothing but respect for them, because it's not a cheap day out by the time you take into account you're paying for your tickets and the cost of transport and this, that, and the other, and whatever you're going to spend them when you're out on the day. But our away fans are, superb. There's nothing better than an away day for me. I absolutely love it. Haven't managed many this season due to other circumstances going on, and my boy playing football on a Saturday is difficult at the moment. So I'm lucky to attend home games. But massive shout out to every single one of our fans who make that away end noisier than perhaps most home ends are throughout the League One. Nothing but respect for every single fan who travels away. So in relation to that, with the week we've had, Bolton, Wrexham and Peterborough, and I know throughout the season we'll probably have worse weeks and we'll travel further, but what's your opinion, the people in the chat? Did you think, should that have an impact on the way we're playing as a squad? I think Bolton, I don't know if they would have stayed in Bolton on the Saturday and travelled back on the Sunday, perhaps not trained on the Sunday, and then they're back in training Monday, then they're playing Tuesday, or travelling up. Do you think that has an impact? It'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts are around that. There's a comment there from Ian. Football's such an unimportant thing in a grand scheme of things. Everyone should get back from a game safe. Yeah, it wasn't nice to see that first thing this morning, mate. So, like I said, I hope that young man is on the road to recovery. There's a few more comments in here. Howell says, BBM needs to be asking for money for a striker who's going to give us 20 plus goals. I fear we are wasting too many chances. How many of those are about now, though, Howell, to be fair? And, if you're going to look at buying a striker for 20 plus goals a season, how much is that going to cost? And would Vincent Tan be happy spending that kind of money? I know we're up at the top, or there and around the top of the league at the moment, but is he going to kind of gamble on that? It'd be interesting to see what happens now come January. Jonathan Mordecai. The squad is inexperienced and the youngsters are inconsistent. But in this group, Turnbull is one of the experienced heads, and we can't rely on him for anything at the moment, it seems. That's a fair comment. And, we're not slating players, it's just opinions. Like I said earlier, David Turnbull has done some good stuff for us, but at the moment it just seems, things don't seem to be working. Ian says, it will have an impact. Home is important to people, especially the amount of youth we have. Has BBM blamed travel, as it doesn't seem his thing, like it was Bullet and Rees? I haven't seen anything come out of that, mate. To be honest, I haven't seen him blame travel. It was just something I was thinking of. It's been a busy week for us. and could have had an impact in the way we've performed today, really. So I know I haven't heard BBM say that. I don't think he's one for excuses, to be fair. But yeah, it's just my opinion, really, mate. So Graham also says 3 games in a week is better than a daily 8-hour shift every day on minimum wage. Yes, you're right there, mate. You think that, they're given the tools to be able to, play the game, recover. But like you said, it was a great point made by Ian, and I think it was. Excuse me if I got it wrong, but we've got a lot of youngsters in the group, perhaps who are not used to being on the road as much as some of the more experienced. So they're learning as well and knowing how to adapt to that. So it'll be interesting to see. We will get better. There's no doubts about it. It was just disappointed to go to Peterboro today, given their new manager as well, and lose that game. But I think we still got them to play there in the league this season. So hopefully we'll go there and do a number on them. I think it's after Christmas, I believe. So fingers crossed. Jonathan says, I don't think we are creating enough. We look afraid to put the ball in the box from wide, and when we do, it's not very good. We have 2 natural wingers at the club, and we need to be getting the ball in the box. I would 100% agree with you on that. And I think Andy Legg said on commentary today about the lack of balls going into the box. You put that ball in the box, even if it doesn't reach you, a player, you've got an option. There's an opportunity. Perhaps it might take a deflection off a defender, and the defender might try and kick it out and clear it, and he ends up kicking it in his own net. We're just not giving ourselves those opportunities. And I know Salek didn't start today, and you probably don't see Robinson as much of an aerial threat, perhaps, as we do Yusuf Salek. But if we don't give ourselves that opportunity or option to get the ball in, then I think we're missing out. There's certainly a few fans who've done all 3, then gone back to work in an office or steelworks or even a little. Howell says, do you think our final third play is too predictable and easier to defend against? That's a good question, buddy, to be fair. And I think this, like the start of the season, we were doing really well. There was we weren't scoring loads and loads of goals. But as the season goes on now, and we're hitting that, 10, 12, whatever games it is, I think sides are, we losing points at the moment. And I know it was a cup game today, but teams are starting to be able to pick us off a little bit easier. And I don't know whether that's because they've got more footage and they're able to study our game a little bit better. But it's a really good point. Paul says we want our team to perform and set standards. If a team beats us and are better on the day, we go again. But some games standards do drop. Bolton and today standards not reached. Yeah, and that's a really good point. And it surprises me, really, because you hear a lot of the players talk about the standards that BBM brings to Cardiff City and how high they are. And for us now to be struggling to meet those standards on a regular basis, probably over the last few weeks and last couple of months or so, maybe, it does surprise me. So, yeah, it's still early days, though, isn't it? Howell says Brackley Town just beat Notts County on pens. Magic of the Cup is alive. Yeah, 100%. I've seen there's a couple of fixtures that some names that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see in round 2 are in round 2. So, yes, great for the so-called smaller clubs. And like you said, you can get a team like Brackley Town into the second, third round. That's their takings, maybe, for an entire season, and it sees them safe for another year type of thing. So that's always good and positive to see. Jonathan says, passing around the box, looking for the perfect ball. We are overplaying and overcomplicating the game, losing good opportunities when we can just chuck it in the mixer. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sometimes, mate, it looks as if we're trying to walk the ball into the back of the net, doesn't it? rather than just putting our laces through and having a go. There's a couple of times today you can hear the cries of shoot, and how many times have we heard that the last couple of seasons? Graham says Man City cross and shoot more than City. Yes. So, guys, like I said, it was only going to be a short one tonight. Simon is back tomorrow to do the breakdown, but I didn't want to let you down tonight. Wanted to come on and do at least 20 minutes. So we have just gone over that. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Very many thanks. If anybody got anything else they want to say now in the next couple of minutes, please have a think. I am going to play a little video, and then we'll come back, and if there's any more questions or anything else you want to discuss, chuck it in the comments, and we'll have a little look after the video from Bossman.
This episode of Cardiff City World is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport fan network, here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts, whether you're constantly negative, overly positive, or maybe even the instant over-the-top reaction social media guy or girl. For the football fashionistas still clinging to the legendary terrace fashion of yesteryear, or the best retro gear from Michael Thorne. The nostalgia merchants dreaming of the old lady Ninian Park, or still celebrating Campbell's goal in the Millennium Stadium. Whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker with a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season, simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
Happy days. Question here from Howell. I'll answer it, and it gives you guys an option to answer it in the chat as well. Why do you think we are fearful of shooting outside the box? Is it a confidence issue or just the way BBM wants us to play? I think it's a little bit of both, Howell, in my opinion, to be honest. Like I said earlier, it seems as if we're trying to walk the ball in and we're trying to score that perfect goal all the time. I know we've had a couple of worldies from outside the box this season, Ryan Wintle to name but one. But yeah, it's something that we do lack. People having that confidence to, shoot from 18, 20 yards. I just think, have a go. Sometimes the ball's going to rebound off the keeper. And we've got tap-ins like, Salek scored on Tuesday evening. But I just think we need, and again, it surprises me because I think BBM said in his press conference after the Wrexham game, I think he was, or it might have been leading up to it, about Vincent Tan, and I think it's quite well known that Vincent Tan expects everybody to shoot more. So yeah, I'm surprised really that we don't kind of unleash a few more rockets, to be honest. Be interesting to see what other people think. Get your comments in, or get your reactions to that comment in there. Thank you for the question, Howell. Graham says, nice of Simon to drop a shirt off today. Nice to meet him. Really pleased with the top. Happy days, great. I'm glad you like it, mate. I do believe that he might have a few spares as well. So if anybody was interested in maybe getting a Cardiff City World, it's like a retro football top, I believe. I haven't actually seen it myself in the flesh. Perhaps Gray, you could confirm it, but I believe it's some like kind of retro-y Cardiff City World design on it. But if anybody is interested and maybe wanted to have a look, pictures or whatever, get in touch with us. And I do believe Simon does have a few spares that could be shipped out. If anybody is tuning in for the first time this evening, apologies, it is only a short one tonight. We normally do try and stick around for the full hour, especially on a Saturday night. But because all the other boys have ditched me and I'm on my own and I am going to work as well, It is only a short one tonight. But if anybody is, like I said, is tuning in for this first time and did want to become a Cardiff City World member, there are benefits to it. There's member shows. You get early access to tickets for live events. You can join in a variety of ways. You can scan the QR code in the top corner. We'll take you to our Patreon channel, so you can sign up that way. Or you can follow the information on the Cardiff City World YouTube channel. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can join Cardiff City World, and it really helps Si to be able to keep creating content 7 days a week for the Cardiff City fans. Graham says, the blue with the white and yellow stripes, best ever City kit. I think you did, for those in the WhatsApp group. I do believe Graham did put a photo in the WhatsApp group. Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. On to Blackpool, I believe, now next week. No midweek game, is it? I don't think. So hopefully it'll give a bit of time for BBM and the squad to reflect on the past week. Bit of time to rest and recover. And hopefully, again, we're away next week to Blackpool. So another long journey. But hopefully we can go to Blackpool and come away with 3 points. But thank you all for tuning in. Much appreciated. No star. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the Spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans, for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.